Installing a septic system is no simple task. It requires tedious patience and attention to detail.
This is going pretty well.
Sometimes everything is going as planned, and all of a sudden the bank collapses on you and the tank floats out of the ground. What a day.
We've got all of our pipe for the septic system. Massive 1,500 gallon 2-compartment tank, 55 tons of number 57 gravel.
And a big ol' excavator.
We started the day by renting an excavator, which would allow us to dig the deep hole for the tank and the trenches for the pipe and gravel. Our hole had to be at least 10 feet from the house and wide enough to safely drop our 1,500 gallon tank in the ground.
We're gonna dig down about 6 feet. This tank needs to sit level. This helps us get there and be on point. So we've got our grade set on our grade stick and we need to go ahead and start digging. We'll need to be 6 feet deeper than what this grade stick's showing right now. We're getting deep, so let's go ahead and check this for grade. We've still got about another foot we need to go down. We're nearly there. We just got a couple more inches to go. Well, there we are. We made it to grade. Now we can go ahead and dig the rest.
At this point, I had plenty of experience on an excavator to be able to carefully dig this big hole. Every so many scoops, I'd hop off the excavator and check for grade. Dig too far, and we've got a problem. There's something satisfying and therapeutic about running an excavator. This big heavy machine breaking up the soil and rock, exposing ground that has never been seen by any human but me.
That's a pretty dang big hole.
You learn a lot about what's beneath your feet when you dig a hole as deep as this. Topsoil in the first foot, clay at 24 inches, limestone rock beneath that, and if you dig a little deeper, eventually you'll hit the water table.
Zach's just finished digging the hole and now he has to go through the bottom and take out all the extra soil that's there and level everything out.
I really took my time on this hole. I wanted it to be square and straight, level and even, and I wanted enough room to shimmy the tank into place. It was tricky to skim the bottom and scoop out the extra without taking the bank with it, all while blind to see right at my feet.
Tried to level everything out as much as he could in there. We're gonna go down there in just a second and check the grade of everything, make sure it's perfect and level. Yeah, I was gonna say it's just a little low in spots, but that's kind of perfect because then we can rake that extra stuff on the sides into there. What are you doing, buddy? Hi. Are you watching Mama and Dad work hard? Crazy stuff, I know. You're so cute. Well, Zach's currently raking it to get it all level.
Our hole's looking really, really good. It's nice and squared and rectangled. It's pretty flat at the bottom, but we're gonna go ahead and put some gravel in there so we can make sure that this septic tank is sitting nice and level. Well, we got our gravel base down and I've got it really nice and level, so I think it's time for us to go ahead and set this tank. So the septic tank has these 4 straps, 2 on each side. So we're just gonna go ahead and put some toe straps through these, lift it up and set it in the hole. Hopefully it goes as smooth as that. Around.
This septic tank cost us almost $2,000, so it was important for us to be careful and cautious as we strapped it up, moved it into position, and slowly set it down.
Nice job.
Setting that tank went really, really well. No issues, we didn't drop it. We're gonna go ahead and fill this tank up with some water so that way it doesn't shift. If you don't fill these up with water, they can have the possibility of rising out of the ground if it were to rain or something. So we wanna make sure there's some weight in there so that way it doesn't move around. Whoa, that's a big old tank. Yeah, that's gonna take a really, really long time to fill up. But while that's filling, we're gonna go ahead and backfill this thing a little bit. It's just a little bit wobbly, so as we add dirt, it'll stable out a lot, and we're gonna have to go ahead and make sure we leave all of our connections open because we'll still have to make those, but this is going pretty well. Our tank is pretty well backfilled for the most part. It's backfilled enough to where it's not gonna move around. We still have to have inspection, so it's gonna kind of stay like this for a little while, and we still have to make our connection. Next step, we're gonna go ahead and move on and dig from this side over to our D-box.
Got the trench all dug for the pipe between the septic box and the D box.
Oh.
What?
Except it needs to be flipped.
Are you kidding me?
Our tank leads to our distribution box, which has multiple holes that evenly distribute the water into our leach field and eventually into the ground.
We got our D-box in place and it is perfectly leveled both directions. We got it sitting on some gravel and all of our lines still need to be ran. We have all those lines that are gonna come out and go down to our leach system.
Well, it's early in the morning. The sun is just coming up and we got a lot of stuff done yesterday. We got our septic tank in, set and backfilled. We even dug our trench to our D-box and set our D-box. And today's project is running from the D-box back over the field here. This is where the water from the septic tank actually leaches into the soil and percolates in there. We did flag and lay out the entire leach system, but the grass has grown up a lot and it's hard to see the lines that we've made. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the brush hog on the tractor. We're gonna get this area mowed so it's nice and flat, and we'll go ahead and re-outline it. So we've got our laser level here. We're gonna have to relay out everything because when I mowed, I messed up our markings. And we gotta go about 122 feet for each line. Well, there we go. We got it all laid out. There's really nothing else to do but start digging.
So we've dug our trench from our D-box over to our lateral lines. We need to do a 4-foot trench.
It was a requirement for us to take off the first few inches of sod, exposing what would be the start of our trench.
All the sod is off of both of our trenches. That actually worked pretty darn well with the excavator. So now we can go ahead and actually start digging this thing.
This is where things get tricky. We have to use a 10,000-pound machine to dig a dead flat trench 4 foot wide, all while sitting on a gentle slope.
That spot's perfect right there.
Scoop by scoop, you meticulously remove the soil, checking every few scoops to make sure you didn't dig past your grade. I'll be honest, this has a learning curve. When we first started, I was stressed and gripping those controls really tight. I think I hopped off of that machine hundreds of times, making sure the trench was level and even. Each trench needed to be 125 feet long.
First trench is dug. Whew, that was not the easiest thing in the world. That was very, very tedious and very frustrating at first, but by the end, we got the hang of it. So now we need to go ahead and take the excavator, do the exact same thing. Let's see how long this takes us.
And we were off, but this time with a little more speed and accuracy than before. When I was digging this trench, I was striving for perfection, even though it would never be. But I thought if I got close to perfect, it would be good enough and the trenches would function as they were intended. The water would flow into the trench and evenly distribute through the full length and disperse into the soil below.
We're getting down to the very end. If I had to rate my experience for the first 30 feet, it'd probably be like a 2 out of 10, because I was pretty frustrated with that. But once I got the hang of it, it's really not that bad, and getting in here and raking it and leveling everything out makes it really, really nice. So as far as doing your own septic, probably a 7 out of 10. It's a lot of work, but once you figure it out, it's not too bad. This morning, it's very, very cold, but we have a job to do, so we gotta get it done. The other day, our septic inspector came out, inspected our trenches on our septic. Everything passed, so we're ready for the next step, which is taking all of this gravel all the way over there to our trenches and dumping it right over here. Now that we've got all of our gravel in this first trench here, we need to go ahead and smooth out a line where we can actually put our perforated pipe. That's gonna allow that water to flow through this trench and percolate into the soil. We need to make sure we have 6 inches below that pipe, and then we're gonna come through later and add more gravel on top. This stuff we're gonna be installing is called triple wall perforated pipe. It's got the white on the outside, black liner, and then it's got these holes in it that carries all of the wastewater from our septic tank, which will come down this hill right to where my feet are, and then it'll go through this pipe all the way down the drain. All of our pipes laid down in there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take some gravel, put it up on the sides of it so that way it doesn't move around a whole lot when I'm dumping more gravel on top of this. And we're moving along pretty quickly. I thought this was actually gonna take a really long time. Laid gravel down, laid our pipe down, gravel back on top. So we're gonna go ahead and lay landscape fabric down. That'll basically keep all that dirt from getting into this gravel and clogging it up eventually. So landscape fabric down, and then we'll start moving the dirt. Let's get this dirt backfilled onto our trench, and this one will be finished.
Backfilling this trench was an amazing feeling. We had learned so much as we went along in this process. To be able to install this septic system, I actually had to take a test with the county, making me a certified installer if I chose to do so, which was pretty neat.
Zach's finishing up that line he just filled over. Next, we'll be moving on to the second one.
Everything is always better the second time. Our first trench was good, but our second was better, and it took a lot less time to install. Honestly, what takes the longest is just learning the systems of a project. Each time you do something, you learn a more efficient way to get it done. So I would haul the gravel back and forth to the trench while Ashlyn would rake and level it to grade, preparing the base for our perforated pipe, more gravel, and fabric. Ashlyn did a really great job with this, and it was her first time using the rotary level, and I think she might have been a little bit more meticulous than even I was.
Well, we're out here really early this morning because we need to take care of an issue that occurred over the weekend. And if you can't tell, the septic tank is actually sloped. This thing has floated out of the ground. This was something I was worried about. I thought I had filled up this thing with enough water and backfilled it enough for this to not happen, but I guess we got so much rain that it came out of the ground. So what that means is that we're gonna have to restart this whole septic tank over again. I think I'm gonna have to pull this whole thing out of here. I'm gonna have to re-dig some of this. We're gonna have to pump out all of the water that's out of there. It's a big mess, but it is what it is. We'll get it done. So I've got my submersible pump here. I'm gonna try and pump all the water out of this hole. I'm hoping we can drain this out, get this thing pulled out. So we're gonna try and do that with the submersible pump. Well, I was trying to get an excavator to rent to be able to take this thing out of here and re-dig this hole, but I wasn't able to get one. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this thing out with the tractor, and I might just have to hand dig this. We'll see.
Sometimes you plan and plan and plan, thinking you're doing everything right, and things still go wrong. You can't see it much in this video, but this was a tough week for me. I felt like every step forward was 2 steps back, but there's always one thing I know to be honest and true, and that is hard work. If you put your head down, do as much as you can, and check little things off the list that get you where you want to be, you will eventually get there.
I had just about maxed out the lift capacity on my tractor. I'm glad we got it out. One step closer to being back to where we were before, where our septic tank was installed. It's an unfortunate thing that this happened, but I learned from it. So I guess if I ever do it again, I know to fill it up all the way. Well, I'm gonna sit here and think if I wanna hand dig this or if I wanna just rent the excavator. All right, I finally got an excavator. We got the tank out. Let's go ahead and re-dig this, get it installed, and then we can keep moving along and finally finish this septic system.
I think I got pretty lucky here. All of that clay soil landing directly on me could have landed me in the hospital. Thankfully, I was able to jump out of the way enough for it to push me forward as it hit me on the behind, instead of grabbing my legs and pulling me under. 6 feet of soil, about 2 feet thick, coming your way isn't a pretty sight. Again, 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
All right, our tank's back in there. I've got it lined up. We're gonna go ahead and check grade again, make sure I'm where I need to be and we don't need to come up or go down or anything. And then we're gonna start backfilling it. We're gonna need to backfill this very gently. This piece I'm sitting on looks like it wants to go cave in like the other side did. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some dirt on that other side, keep it going, and then we'll put dirt on this side. So we're here at our tank side, and I need to go ahead and put in this inlet tee, which is gonna go actually inside the tank, and then we need to connect up our pipe through there. But we have this gasket here, which from my experience, it's pretty hard to get the pipe through there. So we're gonna have to see if we can get that in there and then push the pipe through. If not, we might have to get like some kind of grease or something. Going?
Looks like it, yeah. Yep.
We've made our full run from the house to the inlet side of the septic tank. We've got our SDR 35 in the ground. We need to add a riser on this side of the septic tank, and then we can keep going. So now it's time for us to put our extension rings on. I gotta figure out how these go. I think they're pretty easy, but let's see. Pretty sure they're supposed to just snap in there, but it is plastic and it warps, so this thing's not going on too easy. There we go. Last thing is our lid, which I believe should, in theory, sit just like that. We are not gonna make the same mistake we made last time where we didn't fill this thing up enough. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the hose in it. We'll start filling it up as we finish this entire system. And we're gonna make sure we fill it up all the way until it starts running out. We're here at our inlet side. We need to throw in our tee just like we did the other side, run our pipe, lay our gravel, and get this system all finished up. So we're here at the D box. We have these speed levelers, which go right inside of the pipe. So that way the water or the effluent goes into both of these pipes at the exact same rate. And we'll do a little test, make sure this thing is working really well. I've got a 5-gallon bucket of water, and we're gonna go ahead and pour this in here. So we've got this pipe and this pipe fully leveled. Pretty nice little part that you get to work with and make things a little bit easier on you. We have reached both of our leach lines. All we gotta do is connect up from our triple wall right here over into our SDR 35. We got all of our pipe ran from the septic tank to the D box over into our leach field. So the only thing left for us to do is go ahead and backfill everything.
And there it is, about a week worth of work and one more thing we've checked off the list. Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you in the next video.
Let's go,
it.